What's good, y'all? My name is Dylan Green, and this is Real Notes, a space dedicated to blurring the cultural and artistic lines between rap and film. I'm here to chop it up with everyone from rappers and producers to journalists and video directors about their relationship to movies and how, if at all, film inspires their craft. My guest this week is New York producer CineMasai Banana. We spoke about Cocaine Bear, Godzilla and King Kong, The Nightmare Before Christmas, In the Mood for Love, Boards of Canada, how he solidified his love for music while attending film school, the history of the Karma Kids Collective, music as a vehicle for discussing depression, and the creative process behind Just Tired, his debut album on Uncommon Records. Come fuck with us. What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Real Notes. Yeah, it's a beautiful late April day. The looming climate crisis doesn't have me as concerned as it usually does today. So, we're out here thriving. It's nice and breezy. It's nice. I'm recording this on Friday, but you're going to be hearing this next Wednesday. But my name's Dylan Green, CineMasai. Got a lot of names, do a lot of shit out here, outside. It's almost summer. I've been telling people it feels like it's going to be a good summer. I'm feeling a lot of love and just like good energy and electricity in the air. So, it's going to be nice. And I'm with somebody else who also does a lot of shit and has been doing a lot of shit for quite a few years at this point. I don't even know where to start, like talking about all the things you've done. Like this man's a producer, he's an artist, he's a poet, he's a he's a gaming DJ. Let's start there. He's a gaming DJ.
DJ. I like it. I like that. That's going on my business card.
Come on, man. Shit. Nah, this is we got CineMasai Banana in the house.
Hey.
Member of the Karma Kids, producer, DJ, fucking artist extraordinaire. Just Tired, his debut album out through Uncommon Records is out now and in a beautiful CD package that we're going to talk about later. But bro, thank you so much for being here. Like I was telling you off camera, but like I really, really appreciate your time.
Yo, thank you, and especially for that grand intro. Man. I don't know. I feel too humble to live up to all of those things. I don't know.
Hey, man, you've been out here too long. Like
Tell me about
you've been on a journey, and and you're like, we're not gonna cover everything, but we're gonna cover quite a bit of it. But before we get to that, let's talk about movies. So
hell yeah.
I'm gonna ask you the first question I ask everybody who comes on here. What's the last movie or TV show you watched that you had a strong opinion about?
Cocaine Bear.
Okay.
Cocaine Bear.
So how'd you feel about Cocaine Bear?
I loved Cocaine Bear. Fucking adored Cocaine Bear. I think it had to do a lot with like my expectations going in, and also how I saw it. So I don't know. Basically, like a friend of mine had a birthday around opening weekend. He rented out a theater, and it was like me and a bunch of friends in this theater, and we were ready for this to be like just a terrible movie and like laughing at it. And that absolutely was not the case. We were just like laughing with it the whole time. And I loved Cocaine Bear. But it's kind of funny. I don't know. I feel like I lead with that these days, and I feel some need to like qualify like my artsy film tastes, but I'm kind of like shying away from that because it makes me feel pretentious.
Yeah, I feel you. I have a similar issue. I also really enjoyed Cocaine Bear. I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
Okay.
But like I really enjoyed it. Like it was a great time. Like it was
just magnificently stupid. It was just beautiful in its just crassness, I guess. Uh,
do you have a history with those kinds of movies? Because like watching Cocaine Bear, it really does. I just said this last week with Nolan. I'm with my man Nolan too, but like it really is just like Godzilla or Jaws. You know, like
mhm.
like structurally, it's very very similar to those kinds of movies, and I love that type of shit. But like, do you have a history with those types of movies, or is this just like a let me just go see this with the homies and see what happens?
Um, I mean, like, I enjoy those kinds of movies. Like, I really definitely enjoy like kind of dumb monster movies. I mean, if they're done right, you know.
Yeah.
So like for like you mentioned Godzilla. Like Godzilla, classic Godzilla is great. Um, I haven't seen it since I was a kid though,
Hmm.
but like, all right, so when I remember when Shin Godzilla, you remember Shin Godzilla? Like
I do,
the
yeah.
yeah,
I do.
that movie was fucking awesome. That was just like a great action movie, and I loved it, and I had a blast. But like the Godzilla movie, like what was it, King of Monsters that came out like a few years ago? Is that the one?
Did you? Oh, don't tell me you didn't like it.
I didn't like that one, man.
Oh man,
I'm
I love.
sorry. I mean,
Nah, it's
like
cool. It's cool.
it holds a special place in my heart. Um, because it was a movie. It was the movie that I went on the first date with my girlfriend, um, and we like kind
Oh.
of saw it on a whim. Like we had planned to go see Booksmart, but it had like just left the theater. And so when we got to the
Mm,
theater, they were like, "No, it's not playing here." And we're like, "Well, fuck it, let's go see Godzilla." And we did, and it was 100% worth it for that moment where King Ghidorah just like where that like one jet fighter guy like is like freaking out, like he's like, "Oh, I'm totally fucking boned going up against these monsters," and he
yeah.
ejects his seat, and King Ghidorah just like fucking snatches him in his jaws. It was the funniest shit in the world. I love that moment.
Incredible. I remember
Oh my
exactly
god.
the scene you're talking about, bro. Like I live for that shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like because
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking back to I'm thinking back to the other Godzilla movie that came out with Bryan Cranston that I thought was fucking garbage. But the whole thing was worth it because at the end, Godzilla opened up the Muto's mouth and just breathed fire into it. I'm like, okay,
That
cool.
was
Like
pretty
this is
that was pretty dope.
like,
I mean,
but you know,
okay,
like,
sorry.
yeah,
No,
no, it's
no,
cool. Go.
I was just gonna say, I mean, like my problem with that movie and my problem with like a lot of action movies these days, I think, sort of in general, is that it was it just wasn't enough monsters fighting, you know?
Yeah,
It
I
was
get
just
that.
so much dialogue. This is like, oh god. I didn't I I came on here like I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate. And here I am about to start hating.
Come on, bro, let it out. Be
Um
true.
the hatred. No, I mean like all right, so like I remember as a kid going to action movies and having a blast, but being like, man, I feel like this was like the way a lot of people felt like for a little while, which is like, shit, I'm having a lot of fun at these movies. I just wish that the plot was better. I wish there was like more emphasis on the plot. And that that wish came true in the word in the like be careful what you wish for kind of sense. Because now you get these action movies where like you get like 10 minutes of solid action at the beginning and then half an hour of dialogue and then 10 minutes of action and then 40 minutes of dialogue and etc. And then you're like there for like 3 hours and you've seen like 4 fight scenes and you're just like, is this worth the
Yeah,
$15? I don't know. And that's
yeah.
sort of why I can't watch Marvel movies.
I get
um
it. I completely understand. Like that was my main issue with the first Godzilla. I really liked King of the Monsters as much as I did because I thought it didn't exactly rectify the issue, but like it was definitely more action and more monsters than the last one. And then Mothra shows up at the end, and I'm like, okay, great. Like this is like this is what I've been wanting the whole time anyway. And
yeah.
you had mentioned I mean like obviously like I mean like you and your girlfriend went to go see King of the Monsters. Me and my partner, we watched Godzilla versus Kong, but we didn't see it in theaters. We watched it at the crib. And like Godzilla versus Kong is kind of also moving a little bit more toward, you know, like there's still like a bunch of dialogue and most of the human
Mhm.
characters don't fucking matter. There's this whole subplot about like Brian Tyree Henry. He's like a monster conspiracy theorist podcaster, and like Millie Bobby Brown is the little is the girl from King of the Monsters. Nobody fucking cares because Mecha Godzilla shows up and Godzilla and King Kong beat the shit out of Mecha Godzilla. You
Oh
know, like
shit!
it,
I
yeah,
haven't seen this one.
it's
I
no what?
Oh, I was gonna say I like started to watch it one night, and I was just like, I need to watch this with a pal. Like, I just
Yeah,
like,
it's 100% one of those because like there's this whole, you know, there's like the whole hollow earth theory where it's like
oh
the
my
place where
god,
King Kong comes from is like at the center of the earth. It's go watch the movie.
holy shit!
It's
You
actually
are
kind of crazy.
you are definitely selling me on this movie.
It's kind of crazy, and then near the end, like they wanted it to be a surprise when the movie initially came out, but the
Mhm,
big twist is that like the government's building Mecha Godzilla, and Mecha
mhm.
Godzilla shows up. It's great. Like it's to me the best of the guys. Well, it's that and Skull Island because I love Kong Skull Island. I think that movie's phenomenal, like all the way through. But
I've never seen that
yeah,
one actually.
it was Sam Jackson's in it.
Oh shit!
God damn. John C. Riley. Yeah, John C. Riley's in it. I'm forgetting who else. But yeah, Kong Skull Island was really cool, I thought.
All
I just
right,
love King Kong. I'm kind of an easy sell for King Kong, anything.
all right, word. Okay.
Strangely enough. But yeah, nah, I feel it. Cocaine Bear is definitely more fun and less. I mean, it's still pretty dialogue driven, but it's different, you know. Like those
It's
types of movies, it's very different. Like,
Yeah, like the
on
dialogue has jokes in it and that are and it like doesn't go on for too long. Like I feel like the
right,
dialogue scenes are like maybe 5 minutes tops, and then the cocaine bear shows up and wreaks some havoc.
right, and then the Cubs show up, and then the Cubs are doing cocaine, and fucking and then fucking Ray Liotta shows up with a fucking sniper rifle, and Isaiah Whitlock throws cocaine at a bear from on top of a gazebo. Like it's you know like it's a you know,
So
like
good.
it's a hard movie to get mad at. You know, like I didn't
Right?
think it was like it's so funny because my partner just watched it for the first time last week on Peacock. I saw it in theaters when it came out because that's just
Mhm.
the kind of person I am.
Oh
But
yeah.
like but yo, like it was the movie when I saw it because like me and my partner we love like campy horror movies, all that shit. That's our
Mhm.
whole bag. Hers and mine separately and together. But like it's like I saw it and I was like, oh, Des is gonna love this. I was like mad I didn't see it with Desiree, honestly. But I'm happy like Des saw it, loved it way more than I did,
Oh
which is
shit. Hell
great,
yeah.
you know. But like just yeah, Cocaine Bear was a really good time. I think I called it. I don't like ratings, but if I had
Mhm.
to rate it, it was like a solid 3-star movie. You know, like I went, I had a great time. It's not a movie I've thought about too much since I saw it, but like when I think back on it, I'm like, you know what? That was cool. Like I had a good time. You know, like
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I watched it with I watched it a second time with Dunce Cap not too long ago.
how'd
And
you like it?
I don't think he liked it as much as I did.
Oh,
But I think I also hyped it up a lot. So that might be my fault.
oh
Um,
man, you were excited. That's
I
okay. So
was
it's
excited. I
okay.
want to share the joy with my pals, you know?
Yeah, it's okay to be excited about shit. You don't gotta feel bad about that. Mm.
I mean, you don't want to show too much emotion in this game, you know? You gotta be stone faced and resilient for people to respect you, you know? I don't
Early.
know.
Yeah, no.
That's why no one
Oh
respects me.
yeah, same here, bro. I feel it. um, but let's run it all the way back with you, bro.
Okay.
What's the earliest movie experience you can remember having? It could be at the theater, it could be at your cousin's house. What the
Hmm.
first thing that comes to mind?
The first thing that comes to mind, um, um, I'm trying to think of like chronology and like release dates because it's kind of hard. Um, I remember seeing Jurassic Park in the theaters
Mm-hmm.
when that came out. I think I was like 5. when that happened. And I was like way too young for that movie. And there had been like um, debate, amongst my dad and other members of my family about whether it was like a bad idea for me to go see it or not. And obviously they landed on great idea.
Mm.
Um, and I came out of the movie like terrified. and like I had it like in a good way, like I really enjoyed it, but I was also just like very, very scared. And I came out of that movie and was like, it was a bad idea, but I loved it. um, so that was my thing. I also remember going to see Aladdin and running through the aisles afterwards, pretending that I was on a flying carpet. That was a lot of fun.
Man.
Yeah, those are like, yeah, I don't know which one came out first. There were probably movies in between. Uh, like I don't know. I know that I think the same year that Jurassic Park came out was also the year that Nightmare Before Christmas came out, and I saw that
Yeah,
movie 4 times in theaters. Like
man.
as a child, I was just like I was and still am into like really dark stuff,
Hmm.
like kind of like like monsters and shit like that. I'm not as big like a horror fan as that makes me sound, but like I've always just sort of like liked kind of you know macabre shit.
I
Uh,
was literally about to say macabre shit. That's so funny. Yeah,
macabre is a great word.
it is. It's a fantastic word, bro.
Love that
Honestly.
word.
Um, see, you mentioning Nightmare Before Christmas, like I didn't see it 4 times in the theater, but I remember seeing it for the first time, loved it. I still love it. It's one of my favorite movies to this day.
Hell yeah.
I remember when Disney started doing I'm like when 3D movies were really like becoming a thing, and like all the movie theaters were like like aggressively marketing 3D cinema to the
Oh
point
yeah.
that they're just not anymore.
Yeah.
And
That was a huge
fucking
wave for a minute.
yeah, like it's kind of wild to think about how big of a deal it was. But like the thing that always got me was every year Disney would put out Nightmare Before Christmas around Halloween,
Mhm.
and I went to go see that. I think I did that pretty much every year the movie came out. Like it was just one of those. It was like a tradition,
Mhm.
for like a handful of years type shit. And I always wondered what it would be like, because like we all know what like a choose your own adventure book is. I've
Mhm.
always wondered what it would be like if they made like 5 different versions of of the Nightmare Before Christmas, but
Oh,
every time he goes through a different holiday door.
oh
Like he goes through
man.
the Thanksgiving door, the Easter door, the St. Patrick's Day door. Like I still want to know what's behind all the fucking doors. Like I don't want a sequel.
Yeah.
I just want like like the movie could start the same, but when he gets to the doors, he just picks that he goes to see the Easter Bunny, or he goes to see what, St. Patrick, I guess, like maybe
Leprechaun.
like a leprechaun. Like I don't know, bro. That like
I
that was
feel
always, yeah, yeah.
that sounds like a missed opportunity for the Kingdom Hearts games. That would have been
Mm,
fucking dope,
say
actually.
that, man. That would have been beautiful. Oh,
Oh
damn! Now I
man.
want it. Oof.
I want both of these things.
I mean, if they make Kingdom Hearts 4, like that's Square Enix, Disney, that's a free idea. Just send me a box send me a box of mock Keyblades. Like I know y'all have Keyblades like at the studio. Like send me a Keyblade. That's all I want. But um nah, that'd be amazing. Like
Oh
I
man.
just, because like I know people have talked about like wanting a sequel to Nightmare, which I don't really
Mhm.
think it
Mm,
needs. Like I
no.
don't want the Nightmare Before Christmas 2. I don't need that.
No.
Nobody
No.
does. Like no, yeah, like because I know we're at the point now where everyone's just like trying to bring back any 20, 30-year-old property that
Yeah.
still is gonna like make money, which is like sometimes it results in good movies, but a lot of times it's just like, why did you do this?
Yeah.
Like did we need this? Like did we need what are they about to do right now? They're about to do Disney's about to do something. Then I'm like, why are we doing this? It wasn't the Peter Pan movie. It was something else. I guess the
I'm,
Little Mermaid. Like I'm
uh,
excited to see it because I love Chloe. It's gonna be great, but like or Haley, excuse me, but like yeah. Anyway,
have you seen The Lure?
no. Wait, wait,
It
wait.
is it's a Polish movie that came out a few years back. I want to say
No.
in like 2016. It is an adaptation of The Little Mermaid, set in 1980s Poland, and it is a musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm usually the last person to watch or enjoy musicals. I love this movie. It is fucking bonkers. Like, I highly recommend this. It is so good. And I remember watching that and be like, this is basically the live action Little Mermaid. What this is what we need, I don't I fucking wish that Disney would stop doing fucking live quote unquote live action adaptations of their movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember the one I was thinking of, The Lion
Oh, sorry.
King. I no no no, my fault.
Yo, that was so dumb.
Yeah, it was
Why?
because like the thing that got me was that like the thing everyone remembers about the Lion King is that like it's super colorful and
Mm-hmm.
like the music and like the music like the musical numbers are always like super over the top. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the new one, it's just like a whole bunch of planet Earth looking animals like singing "I just can't wait to be king," and it's just like
Yeah.
weird. Like I don't want this. Like I don't care that Donald Glover and Beyonce are Simba and Nala. I don't care that Seth Rogen is Pumbaa. Like this doesn't like not to say that it didn't look good because it did look good. It was just jarring. Like
That's
why am I watching Seth Rogen sing Hakuna Matata and everything's not like super duper saturated? Like I just like dropped a fucking bean before I went inside. Like I'm just like not.
yeah.
It's just not what I want from a Lion King movie. I get they were trying to do something different and experimenting's cool, but like it just didn't match. Like I'd be really interested to talk to like someone who's like 12 or 13 or maybe
Mhm.
even a little younger than that and see like how they took it and like show them the
Yeah.
original Lion King and see which one they like the most.
Yeah, I would love to see what the kids are into these days. Because like for me, like I honestly I just don't see the point, especially with a movie like Lion King. It's like you're calling these live action remakes, right? Like that's sort of like what they're billed as, right? Or are they
Mm-hmm.
still or have they moved away from that? I don't know.
I think
Um,
for the most part they're basically live action remakes.
but like this is the Lion King. There are no human characters in this.
Right.
So there is no live action. You just animated it to look as realistic as possible. And really it's just fucking weird. And like, I don't know, like for me, those like, like basically like one of like the main reasons to go see Disney movies is or was like the animation, which was
Yeah.
always very vibrant and interesting to look at. And, I really honestly like bemoan the move to 3D, like kind of exclusively. Like
Yeah.
I I really miss like hand drawn or even not hand drawn 2D animation, and I wish that was more of a mainstream thing. But
Yeah.
also, I mean, like, there are still people fucking around with 2D animation that is just fucking amazing. Are you
Yeah,
familiar with
man.
Masaki Yuasa?
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, oh my god, he is the most brilliant animator, like maybe ever. Like I'm just blown away by his shit constantly. Like,
Man, him and like all the stuff that like I know a lot of people have Netflix just redid a bunch of Junji Ito shorts and I was
I
watching
yo,
those
I've
a
been
while
watching
ago.
those. I've
Yo,
been watching
son,
those. I'm
they're
I'm
really
really
good.
enjoying them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Yeah,
like
no,
Junji Ito a lot. And like, yeah, some of the stories are familiar to me, and some of them not as much. But like I feel like they kind of nailed that. And I would be really interested to see like an animated version of fuck, I'm blanking on the name. What's the one about the spirals? Is that Uzumaki?
Shit.
Is that what it
I
is?
can't. I don't remember.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
remember.
I feel like I just said something just dumb.
Shit.
It is
Do you remember?
Uzumaki.
Okay.
I nailed
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Nah. Damn. Nah. I need it. I need it. You said it, and I need it. Before we move on, did you the one Junji Ito shit that really got me from the new series is the ice cream one. I think it's in like the first or second
Yeah.
episode. That shit,
Yeah.
that shit really fucked me up in a good way, but like
Mhm.
to the point where I had to like tell people like you got to go watch this and talk to me about it after you've seen it. Like
Yo.
just like this, it's like this kid just like if you're anybody, I'm not gonna spoil the whole thing, but like this little kid really likes ice cream, and there's this like creepy, like or no, actually no, he's not like he's creepy because he's not creepy, but he like operates the ice cream truck and brings all the neighborhood kids on and gives them free ice cream and
Mhm.
stuff happens. Nothing. Well, I mean, it's pretty crazy, but not in the way you might be expecting. It's a lot. It's
Definitely.
very, very disturbing and fucked up, but it's excellent. It's one of the
Hell yeah.
coolest things I've seen all year. Or maybe I don't know if it came out this year or at the end of last year. Either way, it's great. I fuck with it
It's
a lot.
it's a very good time. It's a very, very good time. Yeah.
Mm. Um what else was I gonna say? Oh, yeah. I miss I wish more people fucked with 2D animation. The
Yeah.
last time I remember the last time I remember Disney really giving a shit was when they made a Winnie the Pooh movie back in 2010 that I went to go see with my mom. That was really really great, and that shit had me bawling in the theater. It was a really good movie on top of
Oh,
the fact that it just looked gorgeous. But
oh shit! I
like
didn't know this happened. I was a huge
yeah,
Winnie the Pooh fan as a kid.
it was
I got those books sitting next to me right now, actually. Just
damn.
looking at those spines right now.
Oh
Memories.
man, that's so good. Um, but yeah, nah, it's like you really got to go like dig for the 2D animated shit these days. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of cool like one thing that always got me. There was they also made a Peanuts movie, like a Charlie Brown movie. I think it might have been in like 2014 or 15. And the whole gimmick, it was they kind of did what they did with Into the Spider-Verse and the new
Oh.
Ninja Turtles, like in the sense where it was like it was all CG, but they
Mhm.
made it look 2D.
Mhm.
Like they still had like the character outlines and the little squiggly lines over their head when they were angry, and
Nice.
like they made it, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was all done CG, but it looked like it was 2D animated. I love
Hell yeah.
like that's kind of the direction that a lot of people have been, especially since Spider Verse kind of popularized it. I think
Spider Verse
everyone's
was so dope. Yeah.
Spider Verse is incredible. Like it's the best Spider Man movie ever. B,
Fact.
it might be my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies. Like
Hell yeah.
it's one I could throw on and watch the whole. It doesn't matter where it's at. I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it to the end. Like I don't care.
Nice.
What a great
Hell yeah.
movie. I'm so excited for
Absolutely.
the new one. Can't wait for
Oh,
the
me
new one.
too. Me too. That's gonna be so much fun. Yeah. Actually, like, I guess, like, I'll say, like, I don't have I don't want to like come off like I have a problem with 3D animation, but
Right.
I think my main problem with 3D animation, the way that it is like it's had such like one style. Like Pixar came out and was successful, and then it seemed like everybody just wanted to make their shit the same way that Pixar did. And
Basically.
there's no like exploration, there's no innovation, there's no like creative flares. And it's really frustrating, especially, like I play a lot of video games, right? And video games are very inventive in how they like design and render characters and how they animate things. And I just don't
Hmm.
understand why Hollywood can't do more of that shit, you know? But I mean, like, that's sort of like, the thing with Hollywood in general forever is like they tend to play it safe until there's like a breakout thing. And then that's
Right.
the new wave.
Right, yeah, like everyone's risk averse. That's just it,
Mhm.
like like that's why Disney's at the point where they would rather just remake their just do live action remakes of their
Mhm.
classic movies as opposed to like just making more movies and trying to make more timeless shit,
Mhm.
like not to say that there hasn't been a good amount of timeless shit to come out of the Disney canon, like Princess
Oh
and the
yeah.
Frog is one of my favorite things they've ever done, even though that one's kind of old at this point, but like that movie has a very special place in my heart. I love it. I love the fact that they're about to redo Splash Mountain in Disney World and retheme it after the movie. Like, great fucking choice. Um, but like it's yeah, like Disney in particular is very risk averse. Like it's
Mhm.
just like if there's anything that'll bring the billions down even just a
Mhm.
tiny bit, no, we don't want that. I just wish yeah, no, like you, I wish people were more willing to I wish like people with the bread were more willing to take chances on stuff that's like weird and not a
Mhm.
guaranteed. Like I we're talking about games. I think about Cuphead a lot in that respect
Oh, I need
because
to play that game. Oh, I
oh
need to
bro,
play that
oh
game.
shit, you got to play Cuphead. So
I
like
know. I know.
so I mean like outside of the whole so I'm sure but like the whole game, like everything in it was 2D drawn by hand. They drew
Mhm.
every single frame of that game by hand.
Mhm.
They had wanted to color everything by hand too, but it would have taken even longer to make the game. So it
Oh
was
my
so
god.
they so they so they
That's
so they
ambitious.
right. They colored everything digitally, but they drew every single character, every back or some of the backgrounds were like dioramas that they put in the game. It's really cool the way they made the whole game. I think I actually have the Art of Cuphead book next to me right now. That's
Oh
funny.
hell yeah. Yeah, I really
But
got to
yeah,
play
no,
that
like
game
it's
because I love those
fantastic.
cartoons too. Like I really fuck with like the Max Fleshman kind of era of shit.
Yeah, same
Um,
here. Like it was such a it's such like a ripe it's such like a ripe thing to explore, and they do it in a really cool way. The game's hard as hell, so if you're not like a if you're not like a bullet hell masochist like me, then it's gonna be a lot. But like just like like they took a risk on that because like the
mhm.
two guys who made the game, they ran the company, and they like one of them refinanced the mortgage on their house to pay for
Damn.
what they needed to make the game, and like a bunch of other
Oh
people who
wow.
worked on it, they like refinanced their homes and sold a bunch of crazy, like like
Wow.
they went all in, like
Oh
they
shit.
went all the fuck in to make this game, and they sold 1 million copies in 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and
that was a
like
good investment.
right, like they were, and like they did it more like not completely independent. I think for a while, yeah, no, at first they had an exclusivity deal with Microsoft. So it
Mhm.
started out on Xbox, eventually made its way to Switch, and then made its way to PS4, and yeah, so it's everywhere now, but like like that studio, like they were independent, and they just put it all they bet it all on what they had, and they did it 2D the old fashioned way, and
Mhm.
they made something that's really fucking dope. Like I cannot speak highly enough about Cuphead. It's a great fucking game.
Oh
Like
shit.
from top to bottom, I loved it.
Hell yeah. I gotta go. I gotta get it. I've honestly been like waiting to like see if like it gets added to PS Plus at some point, but I didn't know that they like totally went out of pocket for that. So I think I'll have to throw them some cash.
Yeah, nah, it's and they just put out or they didn't just put it out, but they've been working on the DLC. It took them like a year or two to make the DLC.
Well, I
The
mean, if they're
delicious,
fucking hand drawing everything, like
yeah,
makes
like
sense.
and yeah, like the DLC is great too. It's I think you can get them both bundled for like $25 or something. It's not a ton of money. I think I paid 20, or I might have even paid 15 when I first bought it, but I can't remember. Either way, like however you play it. It's great.
All right, I'm gonna give him my money. That's a hell of an endorsement.
um, but okay, so as you get older and you start to have more life experiences and just just get older, what was there ever a movie that kind of stopped you in your tracks and kind of hit you in the chest as like a capital M movie? Like not even in like an artful sense if you don't want it to, but just like something that moved you more than like, hey, this is cool for 90 minutes, you know?
Oh man, that's a tough question because there's a lot. like um like I really love movies. I guess like I guess I might as well just talk about my favorite movie of all time, which is In the Mood for
Please.
Love. Um
Ooh.
yeah. And like I remember watching that movie and like just being struck by everything. Like like first of all, just how visually gorgeous that movie is. Have you seen this?
I have, yeah. Now Wong Kar-wai is
Okay.
crazy, bro. Like
Oh
new
my
Hong
god.
Kong cinema, like that whole
Oh my
scene is crazy.
he's so good. He's so fucking good. He's probably my favorite filmmaker of all time. Like, oh my god. It's a and I wish that Miramax hadn't just like completely fucked his career over, but
Yeah, me too.
that's a that's a whole rant. Um and yeah. But like I don't know, In the Mood for Love, I just like had such a visceral experience with that. And like just the colors, the movement of the camera in that movie, and like the acting is just like astounding. Like the two most beautiful people in the whole fucking world, I swear to God. um and and just like it's such a subtle movie and just
Hmm.
hits you so hard. I don't know, like I don't know that I've had like a more transcendent experience watching a movie. And like I've seen that movie more than any other movie in the entire world, and I still cry. Like mm, that movie's so good.
Damn,
That
I haven't seen it in years, but yeah, really, really fantastic movie. I think I saw it in college because that's when I first learned about Wong Kar Wai and
mhm.
his whole thing, and like and you know like seeing his influence pop up in everything everywhere all at once was really cool.
Oh
Like
man, yeah. Yes, like I felt like I loved seeing that, but at the same time it was like really it was kind of tough for me because it was so funny to me. And it's like, you know, it is a very like emotional moment in that film. And it was kind of hard for me to like really take it seriously because it's also kind of parody of, my most favorite shit in the world. But
yeah.
I love I had a lot of fun with that movie. That was a great movie.
Yeah, it is. They both are. But yeah, yeah. Oh man, now I got to go back and rewatch In the Mood for Love. It's been a long time. Like it's been at least 10 years since I've seen
Oh
it.
wow. Yeah,
So
dude. Oh man, it does not disappoint ever. And it's just like that's a movie where like not everybody, I mean, like, people when people ask what my favorite movie is and I give that answer, like everybody's just like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." you know? Like I don't know that it's anybody else's favorite movie, but like no one can argue with me.
right. I mean,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, like, how can you watch a movie like that and be like, this is boring? You know, like I can't imagine anybody not getting what, like, anybody who's seen it. I can't
Mhm.
imagine them getting why not. Like, oh yeah, like that's of course that's your favorite movie. You know, like if
Yeah.
you've never seen it, that's one thing. But like once you've seen it, it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, this
okay,
is just like
like
this is what you can do with film if you so please. Like this
type
is
shit.
oh my goodness. Yeah, that actually was like uh a big influence on me to go to film school. Is I just
Oh wow.
wanted to like be able to do things like that. Um, and I tried. um and I wore my influences on my sleeve in film school, and then you know, well, well, you know, how dreams go.
Yeah. Damn. Where did you before we move on to music? Where did you go to film school?
This is actually a perfect transition. I went to film school out on at Hofstra out on Long Island.
Gotcha.
Um, and that's actually where I met all the other Karma kids. Um,
Oh shit. Okay.
yeah, yeah. Basically, like, I mean, like none of them were in film classes, but but yeah, I like yeah, I found all of those people while while trying to be a filmmaker. Um, I met Trip my sophomore year, uh, and his freshman year. It was funny, like um, my freshman year, I didn't really like I didn't meet any rappers. I didn't like know anybody who was like doing music in a real way. I probably could have reached out more, but I'm a hermit by nature. And then over the summer, one of my friends became like an orientation leader for incoming freshmen. And I remember like sitting watching TV one night, and I got a text from my friend, and she was like, "Tim, I found you a rapper." It's like, yes, I did it. And she introduced me to Trip. I insulted him immediately, and then we became really good friends. Um, and and we started doing a bunch of shit. Us like making moves to like be like the rap people at school let us to meet C4, which is where Gruff Lion and Googie were originally members of C4.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a lot of shit with them. Lots of ciphers and and some shows here and there. And then they sort of dissolved after everybody graduated, and we sort of like absorbed the people who were still around, which was Googie and Gruff. Um, and yeah, and then Dunce Cap was around, and I feel like I just like wrote Dunce out of everything. Um,
Mike's
Dunce,
gonna hear this too. That's funny.
no, he will.
No,
I
I'm
love
playing.
Mike. I love Mike so much. He's like the only
He's the
person I
best.
hang out with these days. Everybody else
Oh
lives too far away. No, Dunce, I
no,
love you.
no. Of
Uh,
course, we love you, man. I'm
but
sorry. Man.
Dunce actually, um, Dunce I actually like grew close to because of a film class. He was also a film major, and we took a screenwriting course together. And it was funny because like I had an experience with him doing cuts with him that kind of like pissed me off. and, and like I don't know, kind of felt a way about it, which was immature of me. Um, but Trip was actually like, "Yo, Dunce is a really good dude," and I was like, "Okay." And then I hung out with Dunce more, and I was like, "Wow, Dunce is the best. I fucking love him so much." Um, and but it took a while for us to put out our album, but that album, I love that album. That's one of my faves.
Mm.
Um,
I wanna get back to that because I was just re-listening to that album earlier
oh
today.
hell yeah,
Or
yeah,
at least I think Human Error, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, yeah, no, I was re-listening to that earlier today. But when did you before you go to Hofstra or
Mhm.
or yeah, so like was there a time before you went to Hofstra where you first really took in music as like capital M music?
Um, well, I mean, I'd been like I'd toyed around with music from like an early age. Never in like a formal way. Like I don't really know how to play any instruments like in a like a formal way. Like I never took like a music theory class or anything like that, which I kind of feel like I oughta, but I don't know. I there are many things that I feel like I should do that I never do.
It's never
So
too late, bro.
no, I know. And I know, but like, but I always like fucked around with stuff. Um, like, like when I was a little kid, my dad was, like was an early adopter of like native instrument synths and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and and so I had access to that, and I would just like fuck around with noise. Um, and then I got a copy of Reason when I was in high school, and like really started doing shit with that. Um, I first realized that I wanted to be a DJ when I listened to Kid Koala's solo album, his first album rather.
Ah, yeah.
I don't know why I said solo album.
I got what you meant.
Yeah, but when I first heard Carpal Tunnel Syndrome when that came out, it was like 2000, 2001. I was like, oh my god, I want this. I want to do this for real. And I got turntables when I was a sophomore in high school, and yeah, just like kept at it, kept making beats, and then that started getting like real once I met Trip. It was like, okay, cool. I have someone who I can like make music with and for, and like, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, 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 no. You totally did. And I'm actually happy you brought it around the way you did, because like you've already mentioned that In the Mood for Love was the thing that made you want to go to film school, and you had
Mhm.
already kind of been toying around with music. And then it started to become a little more uh tangible
Mhm.
once you were hanging around with people. So like,
Mhm.
was there ever a period of time for you where music and film, where you saw those two things as things that might be able to complement one another?
Um, I mean, I mean, like, I guess there was like I honestly like kind of kept it separate for the most part
Okay.
for for a lot of my life. Like, there was the idea of music videos. I directed a couple um, after after film school, but it was mostly just like I was making narrative movies for a little bit there, and I sort of stopped doing music videos, and now I've gone sort of back to it. Anyway,
Hmm.
I feel like I'm just like drifting away. Um, I don't know. I sort of like, yeah, I mean, I did always kind of keep them separate. Like, I was never like, I never thought that I could score a movie. Like, I don't think that I'm like good enough to score something, you know?
Hmm.
Like, so much
You
of
are.
like,
I'm gonna
eh,
tell you, you are.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know if I believe it, but it's cool. It's nice to hear these things.
Of course,
But I
yeah.
mean, like, so much of my music is me just like fucking around and experimenting with sounds. That it feels hard to, sort of like attack things like, okay, I need this to evoke this mood, and I'm going to go about that by doing this, and this, and arranging this way. And like, that actually to me seems like I need an understanding of music theory, you know.
Right.
Um, though at the same time, a lot of people for a little bit said that that my music sounded like video game music,
Hmm.
which I took as an insult.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
surprised, honestly.
Um, I mean, I guess that's just me being kind of like a snob. I don't even know if some of those people meant it as an insult. Some of them I think maybe did. But I don't know. Like, I know, like, oh god. I feel like I hold opinions that I shouldn't have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Like opinions that you feel like you shouldn't have but do anyway. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
Like, I feel like soundtracks to things are very other from music that stands on its own, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I I find myself very rarely listening to soundtracks divorced of, their like the movie or the game or whatever that they're a part of. Um, that's just sort of, that's just, I guess that's really just my habits. And I feel like, when I think that what bothered me when people said that is like, I wanted these things, I wanted these things to feel like they stood alone on their own and not something that like ought to be paired with another thing. I think that
Yeah,
that's where I come from with that feeling.
I
Um,
respect that. Honestly, I think that's. I was sorry to cut you off. It actually seemed like
no,
you had
no,
more you wanted to say.
no, I don't think I did.
Oh, okay, just making sure. But yeah, no, I respect that. Like to me, like to me, they've always been things that have been in conversation. But
Yeah.
but like they also, it is important for art in that way to be able to stand apart on its own and just like exist as the thing that it is.
Mhm.
Like that. There's a lot of value and obviously history that comes with that. So I respect that. I respect that.
All right. I appreciate it. I don't know if I respect my own opinions, but um,
Uh,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel it. But like but considering all of that and how everything had kind of coalesced at Hofstra, like the music and the movie shit just kind of, like like your career as we know it started at Hofstra with the
Mhm.
Karma Kids. So like when did you know that like music was going to become more than just a hobby for y'all? Like, yeah.
I mean, honestly, it was like just building stuff with Trip. Like I think probably when our first album, Drumskin, came out, uh, I think that was like, oh shit, like this is real. We've done something like real heavy. Like we're gonna make moves with this, and that's when it became like a real thing. That's when I became like any kind of like driven to like actually get the shit out into the world. Um, because I mean, that was the first. That was definitely the first like good thing that like I made. That was like a work. Like I don't know. Like I'd done, you know, different things here and there, but I hadn't made like an album. With I hadn't done it by myself. I hadn't done it with anyone else. It just like didn't. And once I had that finish, it's like, oh, we are. This is something we're working towards. Um, and I think honestly, like I kind of needed someone else to help push me. You know, like someone else to like really believe in it. Because Lord knows I have a really hard time believing in myself.
Oh, I feel you.
Hey, it just is what it is,
Yeah, man.
self-esteem, depression. What are you gonna do? I mean, like
Right.
you can't read the booklet that comes with the album and be like, oh, this guy has a lot of confidence. Like that's just
Right.
not.
Totally.
So yeah, I mean that was when it was serious, and then we just like kept doing shit and kept doing shit and built and built, and I don't know, it's been real fun ever since. I mean, not that it's been without it's been, it's had its ups and downs, its peaks and valleys, strikes and
Hmm.
gutters. Uh, but like it's been good, and really like Trip has been like right there with me the entire time, and like I definitely owe so much to Trip, and the rest of the Karma Kids for sure, for sure. But like I don't know, like Trip, like I don't know. He's just a good dude, and he believes in his people, and he really pushes people to like do their shit, and he really helps people out as much as possible, especially when it comes to like making and releasing music. And yeah, I feel like I just meandered a little too much. I lost my train.
No, I don't
Apologize.
think so. No, you're good. Like, yeah, no, I could tell you and Trip have a really deep and profound relationship in that way. And I've always, like when I was first put onto the Karma Kids, I really loved everything that y'all were just like bringing to the table. And just like, since y'all had met at since most of y'all had met at Hofstra, and you and Trip really bonded in particular, um like the work that y'all did together, like how do you feel being involved with the Karma Kids kind of like enhanced the work that you did? Like, did
Oh,
you leave did you leave the Karma Kids feeling like you had changed as an artist?
I mean, I don't know that I left the Karma Kids.
Well, yeah, yes. Sorry, my fault.
um,
I put
no,
that
no, no,
wrong
no.
way.
I mean, there actually was like a little period where like we were going through it, and I like very, very, very briefly uh, quit the group in a weird way. Um, that's that was a bad year of my life.
Felt.
But but um, but no, I mean, like I would not be like anywhere without the Karma Kids. I mean, like they always kept me productive. Every single one of them. Like we really just like thrive being around each other because I think that we were all like at our most creative, just like hanging out and like making music together, like really pushing each other. And then just like the live shows, just we had so much fun. That was just like when we got to like unleash, and that felt so good. I really miss performing with everybody, and I think everybody else feels that way too, because that was just so much fun. And like uh, we were we were chaotic good. um,
Chaotic good, chaotic fun. Yeah, all that shit.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, like we all pushed each other, and we all encouraged each other, and like you know even when I was making like some of my trashiest beats, they were still like, hell yeah, banana, keep going, keep going. It's like I kind of like struggle to be productive on my own. Um, it's kind of honestly, it's like kind of hard to for me to motivate myself. Um, and but like when I'm around when I'm around those cats, like I'll just make tons of beats. Like the last couple times that Trip has visited, like we've just sort of like holed up together for a little bit, and I'll just like churn out tons and tons of beats. Um, and now just gonna quickly tease that there's definitely a new Sarcasmo album in the works, basically
What?
because Trip keeps me productive.
Incredible.
So
I love to hear that. Look at that. Look at that little scoop,
that's
y'all. That's
scoop.
crazy.
You heard it here first.
Oh man, damn. Wow. I love that. Cuz like while I was revisiting some of your stuff before we talked, the the first Karma Kids project I ever heard was Combinations, the
Oh
one
hell
with
yeah.
y'all and MC11, the one with the Garfield and Friends cover.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I still have the CD somewhere in my collection. I got to find it. But
If you don't, I can give you one. We have so many of
thank you.
them.
I think I'm
So
I'm a,
many.
I'm a I'm a double check and see if I don't have mine. But either way,
You let me know.
like I got you. But yeah, no, because like of course, like at this time you were like also making music on your own. Like Worst Ideas comes around.
Oh yeah.
Worst.
Well, that was like worse ideas and bad ideas before it were like I think I put those out in order to try and like drum up tour money.
Yeah, no, it
Um,
says I'm looking at it right now. It literally says in the Bandcamp description, he needs money. Like,
I had
so
a
good.
fun time writing that. Remember that? What is that like? Like the I'm asking for donations to the foundation for the mentally incorrect or something like that.
Yep, you can donate directly through this page. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sole
The,
beneficiary of me.
the worst idea is fun for the mentally incorrect. Yeah, there it is. That's so funny. um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
not
just like trying to raise money so I could like buy nice meals and good weed while I was like on the road with I think NASA at that time.
right.
Uh, Shout out to Uncommon NASA, of course, if I haven't already. That
Yeah.
that is another man keeping me productive.
Hey man, yeah, nah. Shout out to NASA. He's an alum of the show. B, he's someone that I've known for quite a few years. Interviewed him when he dropped the Midnight album over at Man
Oh
Bites
hell yeah,
Dog. Yeah,
hell yeah.
he's yeah, no, that's the homie. Shout out to NASA. So yeah, now that I realize, yeah, now that I think about it, when did you first meet NASA? Like when did
Um,
that happen?
so so basically, like, I don't remember exactly when we met. Um, I know the first time that like I saw him was at Yule Prague in like either 2010 or 2011. Um, it was it was the one that came out that happened like right after Supercron Flight Brothers' Cape Verde came out. Um,
Okay.
and like basically I missed my chance to see Supercron together. Which was a shame. Um,
Yeah, man. I don't know where privilege is, but shout out to privilege.
yeah, shout out to Privilege, fucking dope rapper. Um, yeah, that was. I mean, Supercron was actually my introduction to Woods. Um, I like bought emergency powers on a whim and was like, oh hell yeah, let's do this. Um, and so yeah, so I got to that Yule Prague and I saw him rock, and I think I was probably too intimidated to actually talk to him. um, so I was like, oh my god, this guy's a legend. Oh no, what am I gonna do? And I don't I think I went solo to that one, um, and so I had no courage uh, and no confidence. And I talked to
Oh,
I,
excuse me.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I said the cough.
All good, all good. Um, yeah, I know I talked to Warren that night, Warren Britt, uh, and like handed him a CD. That was the first time I saw like any of those cats, like Teddy Faley, Lucid, Prem, like Willie Green, I think did a beat set. I think his album had come out around that time, the name of which I'm totally forgetting right now. But yeah, so I don't remember exactly like when I first talked to NASA, but I know when we became like close, which was South by Southwest in 2013. Um, Me and Trip and yeah, and Googie hopped in my friend Tim's Toyota Corolla,
Yeah.
Trip's girl at the time, and we drove nonstop to Austin, Texas, like literally nonstop, like people taking turns, like driving and sleeping. Um, and we met up with a bunch of those cats at one point, like the Reservoir Sound people and stuff. Shout out to AM Breakups and
Mm-hmm.
and all of them. Um, and there was like some night where like I think NASA got like separated from his people and he was like kind of like stranded and he was like, shit, I think I gotta call a cab, but it was fucking South by Southwest. So like there were no cabs. And we were just
Right.
like, hey man, hop in our already overcrowded Toyota and we'll give you a lift back to wherever you need to go. And we did. I think Trip like crawled onto like the floor in the back seat and like sat at our feet while NASA like kicked it in the passenger. And we chopped it up there and like chilled a little bit there. Um, and then we talked more and more and saw each other at more and more shows. And then he approached us about touring with him in that fall, and we hadn't been on tour yet, like ever.
Right.
And we were just like, yes, absolutely, please. Um, and yeah, and that was a great time. I don't think Mo was on that tour. Mo was on a different tour. Um, Maybe it was. I have no idea. My brain is just like turned to mush over the years. And also I smoke too much weed. Uh,
Mm.
uh, and I haven't smoked weed today, which may be why I'm out of it. But also, if I had smoked weed, that might have been why I was out of it. And now I'm just like spiraling.
Yeah, I was about to say
So,
it's a circle of out of it. Yeah.
no, what could it be? um, but yeah, I mean that like so that tour, like we did the Northeast, and we all just got like really close to each other, and like it was a good time. That was actually before like the Karma Kids had like assembled in full force. Like we were touring, it was like Dunce hadn't joined up, Gruff hadn't joined up, and we were going around as Sarcasmo featuring Googie,
Mm.
which feels wrong in retrospect. Um, but yeah, and then he put us on Yule Prague that year as well, and then yeah, kept doing a bunch of shit. We toured down to South by in 2014 again, and that's when NASA first started talking to me about doing a show together, like the podcast, which was originally a radio show on Bonfire Radio. Which shout out to PK and Conscious. Those are the homies forever for that.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, and then we just kept doing shit together, and he's been a fucking great friend of mine since then. And I love NASA. He's one of the best dudes out there.
Yeah,
Just like
man. He's really special.
yeah,
Um, when did you when did you first decide to join up with Uncommon Records? Because I mean, like this, like just tired is your debut album
mm-hmm.
on the label, but you had been in its orbit for a little while. If I remember correctly, I think you did some Guillotine remixes at one point.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
did a remix of City Breathing, though that was actually after after we you know talked about the album being put out on Uncommon. Um,
got you. Okay.
but I did do a remix for him from a song on New York Telephone. Um, God, I am trying to remember the name of the song. You'd think I would know this one because I fucking remixed it, but it was the one with Woods and BMS.
Okay, I
Um,
remember which one you're talking about. I don't remember the
yeah,
name, but I
yeah.
know the
He
song.
so he had me do a remix of that like way back then, which must have been probably 2014, I guess. Um, I don't know actually. Jesus fucking Christ, I have no concept of time. None. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd been working with him, but basically, um, I'd been working on the album, just sort of quietly by myself for a really long time. I actually initially started like getting everything like ready in like 2018. That's when I first started like sculpting this thing. Um,
Hmm.
and I and 2018 then turned out to be one of the worst years of my life. So it got put on pause for a second, and then I sort of revisited it again in early 2019 and worked on it here and there. And then 2020 happened, and that was the worst year of everyone's life. And yeah, and then I like picked it back up, um, you know, like late 21, 22. And I had it like pretty, like, I had it all like relatively finalized in the like fall. No, I am lying. I actually had it all finalized more or less. Like I had like tracks done and laid out and was starting to mix things of in like the winter of 2021. Um,
Okay.
and and around then, NASA reached out to me to do a video for Oculus, um, and um, and I was like mixing this album and hating the process. I was like, "Fuck this!" And I knew that it needed to be mastered, and I was like, I don't know enough about mastering in order to do this on my own, and I don't want to anyway. And so when NASA asked if I wanted to do the video, um, I was like, "Ooh, I could do a trade, and I
Yeah,
could have
barter for sure.
NASA
Yeah.
exactly that barter." Because I also didn't want to spend money on Just Tired
Right.
because I'm fucking cheap as fuck. Um, and so I was like, hey, you know, if I do this video, would you master my album? He was like, yes. And so I sent it to him, and he started working on it. And at a certain point, he was like, yo, do you want to put this out on Uncommon? And I hadn't really like thought of it. But like he offered, and I was like, hell yeah, I absolutely do. Um, and yeah, I mean, just sort of the rest is history. I mean, like, yeah, no, I just felt like very, very lucky that like he honestly like took an interest in it just off of like the strength of the music. Um, I felt very honored and feel very honored to have been brought into the Uncommon fold. You know?
Wow. And I didn't realize that you've been working on this for basically 5 years.
Yeah.
Like off and on. Yeah. Like forgiving certain personal shit, and the whole pandemic thing that is still happening low key,
Still
but
happening.
nobody wants to admit that. But
No.
yeah, like so this has really come together over the course of like half a decade. Wow.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
yeah, not to be that person, but what inspired this project? Because it like there's I can't even I don't even know where to start, kind of like pointing out all the different types of sounds that are on here. Like this very much feels like a beat tape to me, but it's like grander than just a beat tape. Like there's it's like listening to it, I get the same feeling that I get from listening to Clams Casino's Moon Trip Radio, which was
Oh,
one of
word.
his solo projects that came out, I think, around 2018. Funny enough,
Oh,
or
interesting.
either 2018 or 19. It was before the pandemic. I know that,
Mhm.
but or maybe it wasn't. I don't really know anymore. But I also have
What
no
is
context.
time? What is time,
Yeah,
man?
nah, yeah, we are literally time, bro. But
Whoa.
yeah. So there's a lot to parse here. So like, what inspired you to make Just Tired?
Um, well, I don't know. I guess like this sounds like kind of dumb, but like initially, like I think I just wanted to do some stuff that was like just me, you know? Like I at that point, like I'd worked with a lot of people and had enjoyed that, but I hadn't like told my own story, I guess. That seems like a weird thing to say. Um,
I don't think so. I
but
get what you mean.
like I don't know. It just felt like I hadn't done something on my own and I wanted to challenge myself to do something. And it did sort of like start off as a beat tape. Like I don't really want it to be a beat tape. Like I put this out, with the intention of this being like an album, like I want this to like, I don't want this to be just a thing that like people like will rap over. Though of course, like people
Right.
have told me that they rapper friends have told me that they put it on and freestyle over it. And I love that. That makes me so happy to hear. Um, but this was a thing where I just like I wanted it to stand on its own, in sort of the like I don't know. I don't really know. I was about to say pantheon, but that is just so grandiose, so I'm not going to say that.
Mhm.
Um, but I also like came up on listening to a bunch of like instrumental stuff. Like when I was in like middle school and high school, as I was, you know, getting into rap, I was also listening to a bunch of like Ninja Tune stuff, Warp Records,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. As a parent, like that Kid Quell album being, just one of the, you know, seminal albums for me.
Right.
And so, I wanted to be able to do something like what those cats were doing, you know, like I really wanted to make a Preview 73 record,
Hmm.
Um, and so like in 2018, like, I had a bunch of beats laying around that I knew were good and really liked, but they just hadn't found homes at that point. I'm really bad about like reaching out to people to like try and shop beats around. I'm trying to be better about it right now. But basically, like until very, very, very recently, uh, if like I basically only worked with people who would like come over to my house and listen to beats and be like, "Oh shit, I would like this, and I would like this, and I would like this." Um, Aside from like remix commissions, um, but even that though, because like my Tomorrow Kings remix happened because I was living with Sketch and he was like, "This would be great for this." Um,
Right.
but yeah, so I had a bunch of stuff that I just like wanted to put out. But I think initially, like when I first started going through it, it was more of like a beat tape than like a full album. I basically compiled a bunch of tracks together, made like fairly rough layouts of them, and sent them out to people that I know and respect for like feedback, about like what they thought worked, what they thought didn't. I did that at a lot of junctures with this album. I reached out to a lot of people to sort of like get, thoughts and advice to sort of, you know, formulate it. Um, but yeah, I reached out. I got like some good feedback that I really really appreciated um, from a lot of people. They all get thanked in the liner notes, and yeah, and that was like the start. Um, and so yeah, so then I like kind of like pared it down a little bit initially um, from that, and then life sucked for a really long time. Uh, and I sort of like, just yeah, stepped away from music in a lot of ways in 2018. Um, and It was bad. Like I had strained relationships with a lot of people over various shit um, or that year. Since made up with you know with the people, but
Hmm.
mostly yeah, with the people that were close to me. And my girlfriend at the time broke up with me, and I was just like feeling incredibly depressed. So I just like stopped. And then in like early 2019, I picked it back up again. And I had just been through a lot of stuff. And um and I started thinking like I could like tell a story with this record. And I started to and that was when I started to write the little pieces of flash fiction that accompany everything. I realized like I took this thing in order and I realized that it told a story. Um, and I was like, let me write the story and like write this out on paper or whatever. I mean, not paper because it's typing on a computer.
Right. Typing on the
um,
page. Typing on the
yeah,
page.
yeah, on Pages on Mac. Um, but uh, but yeah, and actually, that was how I pared down even more tracks. Is I listened to the songs as I was like formulating like what I wanted to do, and basically started writing these pieces to these tracks,
Yeah.
um, which is which I say like it's like wow, but like that's what every rapper does. Um, every rapper does like, but I had I don't rap. I didn't think that I would do that, but like I got these moods out of these songs that I made, and and was like, oh, okay, this it sort of felt like I was taking these stories out of these songs. I don't know if that makes sense. Um,
I think it makes sense.
yeah, but yeah, and they're actually like um, there were a bunch of things that were originally on there that I couldn't actually think of anything to write to, and those got cut.
Mm,
That was the way I pared down the album. Um, and and then it started coming together in a totally different way all of a sudden.
mm.
Um, and and then sort of things like developed from there. I forgot what the original question was, but should I keep going?
What's it called? No, the original question was like what inspired the project, and I was already gonna ask it's later about the booklet, and you just kind of went into the booklet, and yeah, keep going.
All right, keep going. Let's go. um, but yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, I mean, basically, like the hard times, like, sort of brought the booklet about. Um, and and it's interesting because like the booklet is about hard times, but it's about the hard times that I experienced much earlier
Hmm.
in my life. Um, and that was like the booklet is about a bunch of trauma that I had been waiting to be ready to write about for a while, if that makes sense.
It does.
Um, it's like, you can't write good stuff when you are too close to what you're writing about, you know, in terms of like writing personal things,
Yeah.
because this is something I learned. I also I double majored at Hofstra in film and creative writing. So I've always written stuff here and there. I just haven't like actually published anything because of the fear of rejection. Um,
Hmm.
but like I knew like I'd tried to write about some things and it just like came out bad, you know, came out like like kind of cloying and self-pitying in a kind of disgusting way. Um, and I think like having gone through just like a terrible moment of life, I was able to like look back on those other moments with more clarity and more uh attachment, I guess. Um, and I started to write, sort of the story that I'd been waiting to write for a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
from, sorry, what were we going?
No, no, no. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like after I wrote everything, um, it made me realize that I needed to make uh, it. It showed me what I needed to do with the songs to make them better tell the story on their own as well. And at one point, I came up with uh, the idea that um, there were there were themes that I needed to have that running throughout the album, um, and that was kind of a big thing. I had a uh, oh geez, I don't know exactly how personal I should get in some of this shit, honestly.
It's up to you, man. Like if you don't want to, you don't have to. Don't don't
No, I
don't feel
mean,
pressured. Like
I just feel like I'm about to like make a, just like start talking about all of my mental health things. But then I realized that this whole album is about me battling with my mental health and everything. So I guess I might as well. Um, I kind of, all right, at one point I had a very bad experience on mushrooms where I felt like my consciousness split um, into like these three categories. Um, and so approaching this album, like I realized that I needed to have these three like personalities kind of identify themselves and show up in some of the tracks.
hmm.
Um, and and the first song is an introduction to those three uh three themes, I guess leitmotifs, whatever. Um and like I mean it starts out with like a primordial ooze kind of thing that doesn't really come back. But then it has like this very like soothing pad, and then there is this like more ominous kind of sinister feeling thing, and then there is just like this evil raging beast that is probably the most identifiable one throughout the rest of the album. And after I'd written the pieces, I started to identify um, which uh, which emotions were contained in the writing, you know, and then was like, okay, so this song this song has a piece that feels like this, it feels like this, it's got to have this theme. This other song feels like this, it's got to have this other theme. Some of them have both, there are a couple that have all three. Um, and it just sort of like I wanted to sort of, I don't know, like I wanted to use those as a way of like sort of tracking my mental state throughout the album, which I hope comes across. I have no idea. Like I
You
don't
mean
know
like in
what
the
people
sorry, you mean you mean like in the music or you mean
yeah,
right now?
in the
Okay.
music.
Okay.
In the music.
Got it, got it.
Like I don't know, like I hear it because I did it, but I don't know how much people are noticing from song to song. If like people are like hearing that like the same melody is happening in this song and this song, but not in this song or this song. Um, and I don't know if people are getting anything out of that, but I like to think at least that like there's this subtle quality that will like kind of, I don't know, subconsciously give these moods and ideas. Um, yeah. So yeah, having like once I wrote the stuff, it started giving me more ideas of like how the things needed, like what the songs needed in order to like to communicate the story. And I added a bunch of like new elements even um, beyond what these themes. Like for instance, like demon dancing for one.
Yeah.
Like initially um that didn't have like the scratches in it. Um and I knew that it needed something, and then I wrote this thing and I was like, "Oh, this needs to have the sound of people laughing at me." Like I need to hear people laughing at me. And I had this other beat that I'd made like one day where I'd just been toying around with I had one day I like put uh Mr. Greaves by the Pixies on on the turntable and was just sort of fucking around with it and like recorded myself just like, having fun things. And I did that one thing and like it's like, oh, this is cool. And I like actually like added drums to it. And then once I realized that I needed like a laughing thing, I was like, yo, this thing that I did for this other thing would be perfect here. Let me throw it in and also distort it like crazy. Um, so yeah, that's sort of, yeah. And now I have rambled so far. I think I need to like take a step back.
No, I feel you. Well, first and foremost, I mean, like, having read the booklet, I could tell that there was some sort of theme and story here, but I obviously didn't know a lot of what you just told me just now. But that definitely comes through in the way that, like, because listening to Just Tired, you were talking about being really up on everything happening with like Prefuse 73 and like Warp Records around the time that you were listening to all that shit. And it's like, I know that I get a lot of oh man, I'm already blanking on the group's name. Hang on a second. I'm so mad at myself. Shit. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
Um Boards of Canada. God damn it. I'm so mad.
How,
I love Boards of Canada. This really, like, like, this
you know,
feels
that's
like
honestly really funny because like when you were like, "What's the group name?" Like that was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, "I wonder if he's yeah." Boards of Canada
yeah,
is my shit. Sorry, what were you gonna
yeah.
say about?
No, it's all good. It's just because Music Has the Right to Children turned 25 last year,
Oh
and
wow,
I discovered, or excuse me, last yesterday. It turned 25 yesterday,
yeah,
and
man, old as fuck.
I discovered that album around the time I was in college because one of my homies, Corey, shout out to Corey if you're listening, put me on to Boards of Canada, and this kind of gave me like a, like Boards of Canada is so much like, there's like a lot of like hazy and almost like melancholic nostalgia to their music,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm,
it's like very serene and very calming.
mm-hmm.
And this feels like the polar opposite of that. Like there are quite a like there are quite a few songs on here that feel like, like a panic attack, or
Oh yeah.
like or
Oh,
like
there's a
or
song where I try to kill myself. So
yeah, and there was one song, my two favorite songs on the project are probably Demon Dancing and Frenzied. Like
oh hell yeah,
Frenzied feels like what sleep paralysis feels like to me.
really?
In
Oh
some, or like at the very least, like what a sleep paralysis demon might make you feel while you're in the thors of sleep paralysis, if that
oh
makes
wow.
sense. You
Okay,
know,
that's
um,
interesting. That song is
and
about being driven from Long Island to Brooklyn because I just split my fucking arms open.
oh my
And
goodness.
yep, that's what that song's about. Shattered Glass is about, you know, me slicing my fucking arms open. I'm so sorry.
No, man, don't
uh,
apologize. Like I just didn't want you to share anything that
oh
you
no. I
weren't
mean,
comfortable sharing. Like
no, I mean like okay, so the album is like autobiographical. Um
right. Yeah,
and
clearly.
it is about me just sort of like hitting like this intense depressive episode, trying to kill myself, winding up in a psych ward, and just sort of getting better. And also having a moment where I thought things would get really worse again, and then they didn't. And that's actually how I like that last song. That's about, sort of things falling apart in 2018 and then being okay after that happened
Right.
and being
Yeah.
like, because some shit like when I talk about the 2018 stuff, like I was really worried at that time that I was going to basically relive my worst depressive episodes, and
Right.
I didn't. And I was like, oh my god, I actually feel okay. Like I don't think that I'm in danger, you know. And
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, but I like derailed you.
No, no, no. You're all good. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that, like even, like me having read the booklet, um, obviously, not all the details are in there, but
Mhm.
I definitely get the fact that you were trying to tell a story about you and just these, you know, like not even just your feelings, but like the depressive and manic episodes that you were having through all of this. And like you said, ending and you're like the last track on here is called Beginning Again. And it's just kind of like feeding, like one of the things I really love about digging into this album is that it does kind of feed into itself, and it's easy to it's easy to just start it over again when it's
Oh,
over, you know? Like,
thank you.
yeah. Um and I, like making stuff like this that's like extremely personal and very traumatic. Um, you know, like I'm sure it's more for you than it is for anybody else. Because you don't owe that to anybody, like it's your experience and you can process it and hold on to it how you want or not hold on to it. But, I'm always really blown when people are brave enough to kind of, like this is artistic expression, like this isn't just like not to say that like passive listening music isn't an example of artistic expression. Of course it is, but like this is like actively this is a type of thing that demands attention in that way. And I thought it was really ingenious that y'all decided to package it with the booklet and with like your writing to not even so much give context. I mean, like it does give context to it, but it's just like it really makes the album it really paints the album as an experience in a way
Mm.
that I can't remember an album being an experience for a while, you know? That's it's stuff like that's always really fascinating and just like just really fascinating to me. And especially after everything you told me, which like man, I'm so happy you're better. Like it's like like the whole shit's a journey.
I
Um,
mean,
you know,
me too.
I'm
There are
sorry.
a lot.
I feel like I'm just like vomiting word salad right now.
Dude, that's how I
But
have felt for a while here. Um, no, I'm like, I've been very like, am I talking too much right now this whole time? Um,
nah,
so,
man.
I,
Yeah, no,
um,
yeah,
I'm so bad at this. Um, no, thank you. Like that really means a lot. Like, just like hearing that that this sort of like resonates the way that it does, with you, like that that means a lot. Like I really I really did want to take people on a journey, and I unfortunately wanted that journey to be my own psyche. And I'm sorry.
right.
Um, but
Hmm.
but yeah, I just like I wanted it to tell a story. I wanted it to be more than a beat tape, you know. I wanted it to
Yeah,
like to speak for me, you know. So
right.
I don't rap, I don't like and I don't have an interest in rapping. Um, you know, but like I still want to I still feel like I have things to say. and I still want to say them. And this was, I think, a way for me to do that, in a way
Right.
that made sense for me, you know.
Right. Music talks, man. Like, and like, even without the words, like, this is, like, I get the emotions and shit that are associated with all these songs. Like, they come through to me, and
Hell yeah.
like, like, I do feel like I know you a little better having heard this project, and that's why it's so interesting and special to me.
Oh wow, thank
Um,
you. That's
yeah,
honestly what I want.
yeah, like,
Exactly what I want. Thank
even
you.
even even if even like, even if I don't have all the details,
Mhm.
it's just like, or I mean, I do now, but like, like, I didn't before. But like, stuff like, like, stuff like that is just really cool, and just like the general idea of just kind of like the emphasis on an album being an experience, um that like you sit down and like actively engage with, which isn't
Mhm.
always, which is a lot to ask in the modern era, which is all good.
Mhm.
But when people manage to do it in a way this kind of like this forward, is really dope to me.
Oh, thank you.
And I was, and also, I wanted to apologize for saying it. This reminded me of a beat tape, because I
No, no,
know,
no, no, no.
because
It's all good. It's all good.
yeah, because
Um,
I know the connotations that can have, and I wasn't thinking when I said that, but yeah.
no, 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 no. It's totally cool. Because yeah. Um, no, I mean, hey, look, when you said that, you also like were like, it's a little bit more than that, and I'm like, thank you. But no, I mean, I also don't want to like, I don't want to, give the idea that like, I'm snobby like that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say right now. I'm just happy you like it.
No, man, it's really good. It's a, like, it's a really intense and very, like, I feel really good having heard it. And like I was saying before about like Boards of Canada, it really does feel like the inverse of that, where like, like, this is like a very nostalgic album,
Mm,
but within a much, much, much different context. And I always just have to commend people for being, like I said before, being brave enough to, kind of give this part of themselves to people, because you're like
mm,
giving this to people, like, even like, on the off chance that I were to not like this album when I heard it, like, I just appreciate anyone who's willing to, give themselves to people, because there have been albums that have gone through, things like this, that I've listened to and been like, I don't like this. And I
mm,
feel bad saying I don't like this, because you don't want to diminish anyone's art who really
mhm.
puts that much of themselves into it. But like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. But I don't have that problem with it. I like this album.
Thank
Like, this
you.
is
I'm so glad.
yeah. Like,
Um,
and yeah.
yeah, I was definitely worried um about like what people would make of this, you know. And I guess I still kind of am. Um I don't know, like it's a weird record, you know. It's something that like I don't really expect anyone to listen to and like everything on. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like 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 I already knew it's like there are some songs on there that that people like did not like. Like I talked a little bit about like, how I reached out to people, to get their opinions, see like what what should stick and what shouldn't. And there was a track on that record that like most people just like weren't feeling it at all. And then NASA heard it and was like, "This is my favorite song on the record." And I was like, "Yes, it gets to stay. Hooray!" And there was and one of those songs on the album, uh, uh, no one liked.
Mm,
No one liked it. Um, but it had to stay there because it was like the critical part of the story.
mm.
So
So now I gotta ask, what were those two songs?
um the song that NASA loved was Look, um,
Mm-hmm.
which
That
has
makes
the
sense.
it has the best moment on the album, like straight up. It really does. That like funky little breakdown in the middle, like that's the best moment of the album. And then the rest of the song is just like, I hate you, I fucking hate you. Shut the fuck up and die. Um, and and I don't know. I think a lot of people were turned off by the "I fucking hate you, die now" parts of that song.
Mm.
And the song that no one liked, it's the two suicide songs. It's the one with the ideation that's really strong. That's Look, and then Shattered Glass,
Wow.
which I think made everybody very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm sure it did. I'm
uh,
sure it did.
I think Mike hit me with a note on that one that was just like, "This is not pleasant to listen to." I was like, "Whoops, I'm sorry. Gotta listen to it now."
Yeah.
Um, it's not a comfortable song, you know, but
Yeah.
I didn't make it for it to be comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
I made it with this intent, you know.
Yeah. And sometimes that intent is to make people uncomfortable and to challenge the listener. And
Yeah.
that's not that like, that's not for everyone, and that's obviously not like an every like it's not like an evergreen type of song. Like
No.
like it's definitely like for a specific vibe, but like
Yeah.
you wanted to curate an experience that was as true to what you were feeling as you could, and you did that. And
Thank you.
especially considering that not even that you got pushback, but that you got feedback that was like, maybe don't include that. Like that's like the fact that you went ahead and did it anyway, and that you feel it kind of encapsulates what you wanted it to encapsulate. Like that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
Well,
Like that shit. Like that shit's crazy.
well, I mean, like, I feel like coming from like, especially like the creative writing background, like, in the when you're in those classes, um, like, you know, you bring your piece to a bunch of different people who all have different backgrounds and different tastes and different styles, all giving you their own like suggestions on like what you should do. And a big part of like editing your work at that point is sort of like knowing who to listen to and who to not listen to,
Yeah,
if that
that's
makes
a
sense.
big that's big facts. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I these notes are helpful, like I really appreciate them, but then there are these other notes where it's like, okay, this isn't your thing, but it is my thing, and I'm doing this thing anyway.
Right.
And that's how it went. And everybody, like, shout out to everybody who like gave me notes, even if I didn't take your advice. I really appreciate it.
Nah, of course. And before we move on and formally wrap this up, I wanted to let you know that I noticed. Well, I don't want to sample snitch, so maybe I won't
Snitch
say it.
away, snitch away.
Okay. There's a Joe Paris sample at the end of
Yes,
Want
there
Sleep
is.
that I thought was. I heard the voice and it's pitched down, and I was like, that's fucking Joe Para.
Yeah, it is.
That just made me smile. I have his bathroom book that I still got to read.
Yo, it's
The one.
great.
I'm I'm
It's
I'm
so
I'm
good.
excited. It's just been sitting in my room for months, and I've been meaning to pick it up. Might do that
Yeah,
later tonight, honestly. But
I
but
mean,
yeah,
it's a
nah.
quick read.
Yeah, nah. I
Read
just
it in the
like
bathroom.
I think that vocal clip really it did what it needed to do.
Thank you.
This is a really deep and really personal and really sometimes uncomfortable project, but it's one that I think is challenging in like a really enriching and just like, revealing way that if people are willing to take that plunge, it's go try it. Like get and yeah, like y'all get a physical, like if you're able, like get a physical. Like reading the poetry and reading the writing that comes along with this. It's this is an experience. Like if you're listening to this, you're probably into that sort of thing anyway. So like go tap in. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's worth it.
Also, I gotta quickly shout out my dad who did all of the art for this thing.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah,
I was gonna ask. That's beautiful.
yeah. My dad's a painter and teaches at RISD. Um, he teaches like Photoshop and web design and like all sorts of like graphic arts. He was teaching drawing. He's like subbed in for some painting classes and done some. Yeah, I mean, he's just like he's a visual artist and I've always, just felt so lucky to, you know, have him as my dad and like to have someone so talented be my parent. I don't know, like, and and it just felt like I needed to have his work attached to this, you know,
Right.
and it was like,
Man,
yeah.
wow. How long did it take him to so like did did he do all the art specifically for this, or is this like a
Oh,
compilation of other pieces, or
no. So he did. There are a couple things that he did. Like he did the front and back cover. Um,
okay.
I took some photos that I had taken. So those were originally uh, uh, the last two photos I took of my cat Spanky before he passed
No.
um, in 2019. R.I.P. Spanky. He was the
No.
king. Um, and I basically like I wanted this album to really be as personal as it possibly could, and I think that's why you know my cat's there, and that's why I had to have my dad do the art. But so he did that, and fucked around with those in Photoshop. He also the art for oh shit. um he used a photograph that I had taken of like this leaf that had been, or this pine needle or whatever that had, excuse me, been encapsulated in ice. Went on a hike one day, saw some real cool shit, took a photo of it, sent it to him to sort of like, hey, this is a song about having a really bad time doing mushrooms at a music festival. Go
Hmm.
for it. Um,
Wow.
Um, yeah, sorry, I think I just meandered. But yeah, no,
No.
the rest of the artwork is like older stuff that it's stuff that he did. I hit him up and I was like, "Hey, I want stuff for everything." And he was like, "Absolutely," and sent me all of his stuff. He sent me
Hmm.
like all of the like the like all of the digital images of like all of his paintings and all of his past Photoshop um work and stuff, and was just like, pick what you want. And I went through it and was like, okay, this fits this vibe, this fits that vibe. um it was honestly like kind of a struggle for like the angrier ones, because so much of his painting is just like really peaceful and beautiful, and like he doesn't make a lot of violent art, which I didn't really think about until then, until I
Hmm.
was like going through everything. He's so fucking good. His name is Richard Gann. You can see his art at rbgan.com. And he has he's on Instagram as I think rbgan as well. I'm gonna check that out. So
That's
sorry.
beautiful. Yeah, nah, I'll be including links in the description for everything, whether you're listening, wherever you're listening. This is available a lot of places, but there will be links and you'll be able to find and find everything. And like, yeah, man, I'm just like yeah, like it's been a while since I've come out of one of these interviews with like such a deep understanding and like I don't want to say deep understanding and reverence. Like I don't have a deep understanding and reverence of all the stuff I've talked about on here. But like this is like like this talk with you has been so revealing and so just
I
you
feel
know.
so naked. Sorry. Well,
I
thank you. I mean,
no man. I appreciate you trusting me. But before we get to the thank yous officially, I have one last question for you. Tim, if your life was a movie, what would it be about?
it would be a slapstick comedy for sure.
Let's go.
Um, I don't know. I think it would be, yeah, it would be a slapstick comedy about a bumbling goof who's just trying to do his best in the world and often failing clumsily, but people still love him for some reason.
Yeah, and then the movie ends with a shot of you looking into the camera and smiling, a big old toothy smile as it circle fades out. You know, like
Yeah.
that's all I imagine when you say that. You know, like
See, I feel like the end of my movie is that, and then like the Looney Tunes backdrop just comes in and and plays me out.
what is it? What is it? Does it say that's all, folks, or
Oh,
what would your thing
1,000%.
say? Okay,
My
yeah.
movie ends with the words "That's all." That's all, folks.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Exactly.
Shit, I love it. Well, Tim Samurai Banana. This is the first time I've ever called you Tim. That's crazy.
You can call me
Thank
Tim.
you.
Hey, that's
Thank
great.
thank you. Yeah, like I said before, man, just like thank you so much for not only for coming on here and not only for y'all sending me a physical copy of this album that I'm really gonna sit with more and really kind of, like let it simmer. Thank you for just everything. Yeah, like I know that was a lot that you just let out, and I appreciate you trusting me with that. That's like not I don't take the fact that you just kind of you just kind of exposed yourself in that way for granted. And you're someone whose music I've been jacking for a while anyway. But this is like, I'm thanks thanks for being here and thanks for trusting me enough to really dig into the nuts and bolts of something so deep and personal. Like it really does mean a lot that you would trust me enough to do that. So thank you.
Thank you. It really means a lot for you to, have me on this show. Like I feel really, really honored to be here and be considered. And I'm just like so glad that you like the record and like, I don't know. I just appreciate all of the kind words because, I don't know. I didn't expect anyone to like it. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like blown away. Like, thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to talk to me and listen to my bullshit and all that. And
Come on, man. You were here listening to my bullshit too. So like nah, man. Nah. This was really something. And yeah, once again, like I implore all of you, if you're willing to go take a journey like this, go grab Just Tired out via Uncommon Records. Yeah, just like do that. And also just like it's nice as shit outside. Be good to yourselves. Go
hell yeah.
outside before it gets too dark. And yeah, like go make yourself like a PB&J
Oh,
or a
hell yeah.
fluffernutter. Go make a fluffernutter.
Whoa.
Go make
Oh,
a
shit.
fluffernutter. You deserve it right now.
Oh.
Peanut butter and marshmallow is in your future. I'm gonna tell you that. All of y'all, go do it.
That's such a good idea.
Damn, I don't have fluff, so I can't do it. But y'all go do it for me and tell me how it is, please.
I'm going to the Sea Town right now. I swear to God.
Thanks for listening. Shout out to y'all for making it this far. And shout out to all the black people listening too, because y'all really impeccable. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend to come through next time. One.